So if you see my channel recently, you know I'm making videos on projects as well as actual concepts. And that got me thinking, what if I compiled a bunch of projects, beginner to advanced, so you have inspiration for when you're practicing? This video in particular will be giving projects for absolute beginners to advanced beginners. Basically, advanced beginners is just below intermediate. Some of these I will have made videos on already, but I will be making the rest in the near future, so consider subscribing for that, and for intermediate and advanced content as well. Oh, and before I start, I won't lie to you. I will never say this project or that project will help you get a job or will look good on your CV. And if there genuinely is a project that is like that, believe me, I will give the most detailed guide possible so you can do it yourself and not just copy my code. The first project is for those who have just started programming and understand the conditional statements. If you haven't already done bubble sort, do it. This is a sorting algorithm that, compared to the others, is easy to code. Of course, to a novice, this is quite up there, but in doing this project, you would ideally gain the knowledge on how algorithms work, how conditional statements interact with each other, and begin to develop the thinking skills to plan moving parts. I do recommend this project because it has a low cognitive load whilst teaching foundational algorithmic thinking. Once you wrap your head around if and while loops and know what lists are and some of their features, this is a good start. And that's why I'd say it's a must. It's so basic and simple, yet it teaches quite a bit. And for beginners, it's a good transition between a complete noob and a semi-novice. The next one is based on a common project idea, but with things that actually make you think. A lot of people say a to-do list with a text file, but actually I'd say something a bit more complicated. Make one using a JSON or a CSV file. Why? Well, especially with a CSV file, it's a lot more appropriate to store that kind of data, but also those files are not just plain text. JSON is, to water it down, a list of dictionaries, and CSV files use things like dictionaries which you need to query through, where the header is a key and all of that. Both of them is far more complex and thus will get you to develop a computational thinking much more than a text file. I recommend this one if you are beyond that beginner stage, not an advanced beginner, but smart enough to write basically projects that deal with items outside the main file. And of course, if you haven't done anything with a text file, do that first. I'm not saying text files are the devil or anything, but once you are past that stage, CSV files, JSON files is a really good start with a to-do list. Now this project is from OCR Coding Challenges. It's meant for GCSE students and I can tell why. This project introduces you to the idea that even strings have value, similar to integers. And the whole purpose is to manipulate data based on that ASCII value. Once you do a bit of research into the ASCII library, which is a built-in library, the project is easy. You don't need to do that much research. Basically, just knowing what the library is and just the fact that it exists. The extension makes it worthwhile and boosts it from a complete beginner to around bubble sort level. The last project in this video is also from OCR, for A-level students this time, but I do recommend going a step further if you are just below intermediate. Like the to-do list, it's a CRUD project, though more complex as it's large enough to actually get you to write out the pseudocode first. And that's a good first step before taking on larger projects. This teaches you about stuff like decomposition and error handling, as well as being able to download things. Once again, I recommend a JSON or a CSV file, though if you are confident enough, try SQL, as the requirements is so low, yet not low enough. Trying SQL here is feasible and it will get you to practice with things like APIs. Sure, it's local, but you still need to fetch and retrieve stuff, regardless if you're doing this in JSON, CSV, or even SQL. This, I'd say, is just below an intermediate project and a must if you want to get that practice in. If you want some more projects, whether it's more beginners or that next level with the intermediate and advanced, consider subscribing so you'll get notified. But even just liking this video helps a lot with the algorithm. Be sure to check out the description for my tutorials on these projects if I made them. And though there are probably more qualified teachers out there, I make the effort to teach you instead of just showing you the code with an explanation. You know, I drop hints, I ask questions first, maybe recalling to an earlier part of the project so that you can build it yourself and actually learn how to code. Regardless, just do something and stay grinding.